Hello again and welcome back. It's been a while again. So today I'm going to show you the next origin in the line. Um, an origin from the overgrowth. So let's begin with this one. So let's start with a little bit of story about the isotone. The isotone it was created by the witch doctor to safeguard the overgrowth against demons and other potential outsiders. And the isotone's ability is tailored towards that. So let's just keep that in mind. So while we're here, you actually spawn in the jungle. That's your neutral abilities. And let's start with the positive one. So let's start with your first positive. It's called Life Bloom. Life Bloom will reward you for killing any entities, and this can stack up to 4 times. And once you've chosen this origin, you actually start at max stack. So if we kill this cow right over here, you can see on the back that a single petal is behind you now. And if we max that out, it should be a full flower that spawns on your back. So if you don't want that one, because it is kind of a little bit heavy on ticks, you can press your save up toolbar to stop that from spawning in and turn that stack into a resource. And what this ability does is it grants you a boost and potion effect based around on how many stacks you have. Although this boost is reliant on your primary key, which I will explain further on the next one. Alright, let's start with your primary key. The primary key is where all of your abilities actually interact. So if you press your primary key, you will throw down a seed that lands on the ground. And once it lands, it will occasionally show this kind of particle. This is a state where the plant is not really bloomed, and you have to wait for a bit before you can actually interact with the plant. And there we go. This is what it looks like when it's ready to be used by any of your abilities. And if you have one stack, you actually gain speed. And if you're near one, a bloomed one, you gain resistance too. So if you have two stack, you gain strength. On third stack, you gain speed too. On the fourth one, we'll just spawn in a lot of this for later on. So I will talk about the secondary. All right, there we go. Now, the secondary has a unique phase for this. But we'll talk about the max stack first. On your max stack, when you hit an entity, all nearby bloom flowers will actually shoot a projectile towards your target. And what this does is, when the projectile misses, like that one, and it lands, it will actually grow into an unbloomed flower. And the projectile normally deals half a heart of damage. So there we go, for that one. Oh, and one more thing. There can be no like bloom or unbloom flower within 10 blocks. There can always be just one within 10 blocks. So let's just pick this one. There we go. If the entity got hit, that entity will be revealed to you, and they will harbor a seed inside them that will grow over time. Although it takes a long time for them to grow inside and drop into the entity. So if you kill the entity though while they have the seed inside, they will automatically drop the seed that is already bloomed, and you can instantly use that to actually hit another target. There we go, it went there. And that only works if you have max life bloom stack, actually. So let's go on with your secondary key. Okay, it's time to talk about your secondary key. Your secondary key is reliant on a bloomed flower to work, unless you're max stack. So this is one of bloom one. If I press my secondary key while looking at the entity, it will cause all nearby bloomed flower to shoot a projectile directly at them. And if it misses, it will also grow. You can use this every time it's off cooldown, so keep in mind on how many bloomed flowers there are on your surrounding. Also, your secondary key has a unique feature depending on your stack, or if your stack is max. So let's find a sheep right over there. If I press my secondary key, I am able to leap towards the target that is based around my current velocity. This only works if you have max stacks, by the way, so let's target this force. There we go. The leap has a set distance, so there is a chance for you to actually leap past the entity you're trying to target, so probably keep that in mind. So let's start with your first con. Your first negative actually is you're weaker to magic, and undead type mob deals more damage towards you. I'm just gonna leave there. And while we're at it, this is part of your negative essentially, but it depends on how anyone looks at it. If you actually eat food, you eat the same way as a Russulian would. There's a timer for it. But what separates you and the Russulian is you can't actually create bone meal, and yours is relatively faster than the Russulian. Now let's talk about your next con that is also tied with your primary. So, your primary key, both Unbloom and Bloom Flower, can be taken out by lighting it on fire. And you also take more damage towards fire, because obviously you're a plant, and what the thing you set on fire is also a flower. So, oh, let me just get on water. There we go. All right, for your last two cons is that the witch doctor's design for the isotone was never meant for them to mine. So what this means is that you break blocks a little bit slower than a regular human would. And for your last negative is that during nighttime, let me just set time here, verse 8, you actually actively move slower. This negative can pass through even if you are in the nether. So execute in nether, both nether and the end. So that's TP over there. Oh, okay. Oh, that is. And yeah, there you go. You should move relatively slower whether you're in the nether and the end. So these two dimensions are likely very dangerous without fire resistance. I'm out of here. So if you like the isotone, basically it's a very simple origin. I've been focusing more on making my origins more simpler to use, so you don't have to read a research paper just to understand one ability. And yeah, if you like this video, I just hope you enjoyed it. So bye bye.